can never be fully harnessed without a conducive maritime environment. The first consideration of any tourist while visiting a destination is security. The second is the ease of intermodal connectivity, and the third is the cleanliness of the environment. No tourist will want to lose his life or belongings in a tourist destination, and neither would any seafarer want to disembark from his vessel to go and see the town if he feels the environment is unsafe. Poor intermodal connectivity is a complete put-off to tourists, as cruise vessels will not call to a country if they know the transport interconnectivity is a nightmare. While also, no one wants to visit a polluted beach. This explains why NIMASA pays so much attention in achieving and sustaining a conducive maritime environment by ensuring safe, secure shipping, cleaner oceans, and cleaner oceans. These are to do by strictly implementing our regulatory mandates to provide, as provided in the Master Act of 2007, and the Merchant Shipping Act of 2007, and the Cabotage Act of 2003, knowing fully well that if we achieve that, we will not only attract vessels and cargoes to our ports, but we equally attract tourists and investments to the country. In the area of maritime security, we are making efforts to tackle piracy, sea robbery, and all illegal activities within our maritime domain through the establishment of the Maritime Guard Command with the combined efforts of NIMASA, the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Police Force, and Nigerian Civil Security and Civil Defense Corps. We are championing the anti-piracy bill presently before the National Assembly to provide legal framework for punishing piracy and other maritime crimes. When passed into law, it will ensure adequate sanctions against offenders and act as a deterrent to others. We have also achieved over 85% compliance of international ship and port security, that's the ISPS code implementation, which ensures that ports and vessels within our maritime domain are protected against terrorist attacks. In the area of maritime safety, NIMASA has installed a satellite surveillance system, a coastal radar system, and a global distress and safety system. These are also electronic and digital facilities that enhance maritime domain awareness. In addition, the agency is building a capacity for search and rescue, and in areas of maritime pollution, the primary responsibility of the agency is to prevent the pollution of the seas by vessels. Recently, NIMASA has inaugurated a 100-man environmental guard to fight against domestic dumping of refuse in our lagoons. In developing our tourism and transport industry, our watchword will be sustainability. This task cannot be left for government alone, but it can only be achieved through collaborative efforts and the shared responsibilities between government, private sector, and the citizenry. In conclusion, let me demonstrate the benefits that could be derived from the synergy of transport and tourism with the legendary story of a young seafarer who visited Lagos harbors in the early 1950s. He disembarked from the vessel to see the town and needed to buy a loaf of bread, but could not find one anywhere. He then decided that one day he will come back and invest in bread production in Nigeria. Many years after, he returned and fulfilled that dream, and today, Flour Mills of Nigeria, PLC, is one of the biggest companies in Nigeria. That man is George S. Koumatarous, a Greek businessman and a prolific yachtsman, as well as the founder of Southern Star Shipping. Thank you very much for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's like the summit proper has taken off. We've just received a massive lecture. A round of applause for him. However, as the presentation of the good messages continue, we want presenters to be as brief as possible because we have papers to be presented and we need time for that. In any case, thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and pleasure to invite Mr. Dennis Zulu, Country Director, International Labour Organization, ILO, to give us his goodwill message. Sir.
Honorable Minister, Master of Ceremony, let me stand on existing protocols and get quickly to my goodwill message. Let me thank the organizers for having invited me to this very important occasion, which I think is long overdue given the fact that both tourism and transportation have great potential for growth in this country. Indeed, from the ILO's perspective, we also look at tourism and transportation as a great contributor to the creation of jobs in Nigeria. So beyond just looking at the potential in tourism and transportation, I think we need to invest a lot more in infrastructure, but also in ensuring that the people who work in these services are properly trained and equipped with the right skills to be able to deliver on the requirements of the tourist. I must mention here, I think Nigeria still has a lot of potential, but this potential cannot be realized if we go out there and promote Nigeria as a tourist destination. Unfortunately, at the moment, we do not see a lot of information coming out of Nigeria to market its tremendous sites that it has across the country. But I think, given the fact that we also recognize transport as a very important contributor to the growth of tourism and indeed the economy, it's also important that we work towards strengthening and opening up all these areas to the tourists who come from all over the world. Let me also end here in my good message by pointing out that I think the success of Nigerian tourism lies in Nigerians themselves, because I think there's a lot of tourism that can be generated from people in Nigeria. Every day you see a lot of Nigerians leaving the country to go abroad to look at tourist sites. Let's try and explore our own sites here in Nigeria, because when we explore our own sites here, we're leaving the money at home and we're growing this industry. So I wish to urge you to contribute effectively and also look around at, I think, the very good presentations that have been made here, and let's work together towards growing tourism and growing transportation. I wish you well in these 2 days of discussion, and we look forward to working with all of you to see how we contribute to the growth of these very important sectors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. He is the country director of the International Labour Organization, in charge of anything that has to do with labor and industrial matters, as well as capacity building in all the sectors of our endeavors. Thank you very much, sir. It's my honor and privilege to invite the representative of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Ibrahim Gaidan, ably represented here by Honorable Lawan Shetima, the State's Honorable Commissioner for Works, Transport and Energy. Sir, let's have your goodwill message.
The members of the high table, fellow participants, good morning. I'm here to participate as participant, as well as stand in for my governor, who is fully engaged with state affairs. That's why he asked me to represent him here. This summit, when it was initiated in Sokoto during our council meeting, I happened to be one of the stakeholders. Alhamdulillah, we are realizing this initiative. The combination of the transportation and tourism is not a coincidence, but a necessity. Because you cannot talk of tourism without transportation, good system of transportation. A lot of things a lot of decisions have been made in Sokoto with regard to improvement of our transportation system in the country, coupled with the fact that the present government has a keen interest to diversify our economy by evolving other sectors to achieve the economic development as well as progress in the nation. In this regard, Yobe State is not left out because my governor has been making a very concerted effort to see that our economy has been diversified through provision of a very good transportation system, particularly by embarking upon construction of our international cargo airport, which last year was awarded, and work is currently going on in that direction. And we are able to achieve about 47% as I'm talking now. We believe there will be a very remarkable improvement in our transportation system whenever the international cargo airport is completed. Additionally, in the tourism sector, we believe by having a well-equipped teaching hospital with all the modern equipment, Yobe will turn to be a medical tourism. And historically, you cannot talk of the ancient Khanum Empire without relating it to the ancient city of Gadargamu. As at now, if not because of the insurgency turbulence we found ourselves, as at this stage, tourists will have started visiting the ancient city of Birni Gazargamu, located within Yobe State. Inshallah, we'll make all efforts to see that we key in to the effort of the federal government to improve the transportation and tourism sector. With these few remarks, on behalf of my governor and my humble self, I wish this summit a very fruitful discussion, and at the end of which I believe something to improve our economy will come out. Thank you. Masalam.
All the way from Yobe State, northeast Nigeria. Please, a round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much, sir, for the goodwill message. Invited guests, you will note that we started this program far behind schedule. Therefore, there's little more we can take as far as goodwill messages is concerned. However, because like I said earlier, tourism touches almost everything. Therefore, we cannot do without calling the representative of the Accountant General of the Federation. Everything you do, you need money. To embark on tourism, transportation, and what have you, you need money. Therefore, it's my singular honor and privilege to invite Mr. Adiro Emmanuel, representative of the Accountant General of the Federation, to please deliver his goodwill message. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister, Federal Minister of Information and Culture, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, members of the High Table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me apologize for the inability of the Accountant General of the Federation not to be physically here. He has a high regard for this summit, and specifically, he handed over to me that I must present his goodwill message. And that informed part of the reason why I've not been able to leave, because I've been here since 8:30, and I've been looking at my watch. There have been a lot of calls from the office to come and do one thing or the other. Without taking much of your time, let me go through the goodwill message. I consider it a great honor and privilege to be part of this great occasion of the 2018 Transportation and Tourism Industries Combined Summit and Exposition. You will agree with me that the Nigerian economy, to a large extent, is import dependent, and the major source of revenue being oil. It follows, therefore, that if we must put our economy on the path of sustainable growth and development, there's need for diversifications. The government of the day has been making giant strides in this direction. The theme of this summit and exposition, which is tourism and transportation, key sectors for economic diversification, sustainable growth, and development, is therefore considered very appropriate at a time like this. Tourism and transportation sectors are rapid growing segment of modern economy. The tourism industry is the one where customers, that is, the tourists, come to the destination where the services is being provided. It's therefore not possible to talk of tourism without transportation. The two are considered inseparable or conjoined twin. The nation is blessed with vast tourism and transportation potentials, which have not been fully harnessed. I have observed over the years that we are majorly concerned about sharing the national cake. Since the coming of this administration, the emphasis has shifted considerably to how do we bake the national cake. This summit today is an attestation to this assertion. I wish to therefore congratulate the honorable ministers and their teams from the two ministries for this well thought out forum, especially for recognizing the need for synergy in this direction. May I also, at this junction, assure you that on our side, we will complement your laudable efforts by providing necessary support within our capabilities at all times. I wish every participant at this summit fruitful participation. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. I know your speech is going to be very brief because you don't deal with words, but with figures. Thank you. Invited guests, we have a little bit of change in this program. We will take one more goodwill message, after which we will go on a tea break, very brief tea break. We crave the kind indulgence of our Muslim brothers and sisters that this is an event that they won't partake. As we invite them to partake in all that we do, we're sorry, they can't partake in this. When we go on the tea break, we're likely to miss one of the dignitaries on the high table because she has a very important meeting to attend. And therefore, what I'm trying to say is that the PAMSEC of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture will take her leave while we commence the plenary session. May I please recognize again, please, the representative of the Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, Mr. Funsho Kuka. He has a representative here, the director. Please, can we have, okay, you're welcome. It's my pleasure to invite the representative of the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria to present a goodwill message from the Vice Chancellor, please. Sir.
Good
morning, distinguished members of the high table, distinguished members of this special gathering. I want to say that today is a special day, a memorable day, and a day for us to have a redefinition of these two critical sectors, the transportation sector and the tourism sector. My Vice Chancellor will have been here physically, but because of the accreditation exercise that we're currently doing in my university, he has asked me to represent him at this event. These are two areas that, in terms of academic development in our Nigerian universities or polytechnics, is suffering a lot. And for you to have a better position in a sector, there must be a body of knowledge. And to have that body of knowledge, and that is the more reason why, from the National Open University of Nigeria, which is simply the best university in this country, whereby we are dealing with individuals in various directions. Why are we talking about all these things? You need to look at it critically, that look at the various universities very well. How many of them are running programs in this sector? I have checked the brochure, wanting to see if there are, scholars of these areas from universities. And I've checked the list of the members of the institute. I could only see one person with a PhD there. Now, if you want a sector to grow, there is every need for that synergy between those in the academic environment and the practitioners in the field. And that is the more reason why the National Open University